Hello there and welcome to Fit and Fun Show. Today we have Becca here and Becca will talk to us about yoga and the connection to mental health. Hello Becca.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you very much. Thank you for coming in and talk to us today. So tell us a little bit more about your experience or your story about yoga and mental health.
Well, I started doing yoga when I was a teenager. As sort of a solution to my own mental health problems. When I was a teen, I had a lot of different problems. I had things like eating disorders, depression, anxiety. Almost sort of you could go through the list of big names and you'd probably find I had elements of that I was struggling with.
Right.
And I found that therapy wasn't very beneficial to me, and looking for something that I could do and was in control of, I stumbled across the idea of trying yoga for mental health. So that's where I sort of began to experiment by myself in my room just at night, and my parents were like, what are you doing? And I found it very, very beneficial for me.
Oh, how beautiful. So did you eventually take up yoga professionally? Like you went to yoga classes? And...
Yes, yeah. When I was at school there wasn't really anywhere to go, and then when I went to university they had a yoga society, and that's where I really got to go to classes. I did my undergraduate up in Dundee, and in Dundee there is a really great community called the Heart Space, where they have yoga classes running 24 hours a day almost. Like they have night yoga and they have day yoga and they have all sorts of things, and they have all these sorts of things for really reasonable membership prices. I remember the classes being like £2 a go.
Beautiful.
So it was really accessible, and it was also different varieties for different people, and that really sort of is where I learnt more about the sort of the teachings behind yoga rather than just the physicality of stretching.
Right. Right. So we discovered that you were suffering from some mental health issues. And you stumbled across yoga. How did yoga help?
For me, this goes true of any exercise, that freedom of movement is freedom of mind. I am never happier than when I am moving, when I'm doing something physical. I think it's like ingrained in my system almost to be moving constantly.
Right.
And yoga really, yeah, you know that, I've been in your classes. Yoga for me really cements that link between the two. Because so you could be in a pump class or in an LBT class and you're lifting weights and stuff, and it's really fun, but part of you is like, oh, this is really heavy, I want to put it down, how many more squats do I have to do? But when you're doing yoga, it's completely your control. It's up to you what you do, when you do it, how you do it. There's no rules, and it really links your mind to your body in a unique way.
Yes. What way did you explore? So what happened to you? You're thinking, I actually really like yoga, I want to carry on. And did you start in a class? You said you started in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So how did it evolve?
It was interesting because I actually found yoga almost as a negative way, because I was looking for another way to lose weight in secret. It's really, really the opposite reason why you should really do yoga. And because I knew that you could lose weight by doing yoga, and it almost immediately had the opposite effect of feeling calmer, feeling better, understanding myself more, and having that sort of physical awareness that doesn't come with any other class or any other exercise.
That's beautiful. So you felt better straight away?
Yes.
And you started as simple as doing some yoga in your room.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you start? Did you just open up a book and look at yoga poses, or how did it all start?
I was aware of it already because I'd done gymnastics as a kid, so I knew about stretching and I knew the basic sort of outline of yoga poses, like, you know, sort of down dog and up dog and sort of the really, really bare skeleton of it. And I was on YouTube and I found this lovely channel where the woman did just like 10-minute flows. So she'd make them up every day and just 10 minutes long, And so you sort of think, oh well, that's not a very big commitment. 10 minutes, that's easy.
Yep.
You know, I've got 10 minutes to spare now before I go to bed, and I started doing them, and I really sort of fell in love with the sort of simplicity
Right.
of it, and the idea that you didn't need weights, you didn't need music, you didn't need a class. I don't even do it with a mat anymore because I find the mat is a distraction from the actual yoga.
Yeah,
So-
it's a barrier between you and
the earth, yeah.
because you need
exactly.
to ground yourself.
Yeah.
That sounds very amazing. So if one of our viewers at home wanted to live a better lifestyle, perhaps a little calmer lifestyle, would you recommend yoga, and what would you recommend them they did to begin with?
I would recommend yoga for any person who lives on this planet. I constantly am telling everyone I know that they should try it at least once, because you can't knock something you haven't tried. But the root of yoga, and this is what I learned more about as I started going to classes and joining societies and really becoming interested in learning about the history behind yoga, was the breathing element.
Right.
To me, that's where it all starts and where it all comes from. So it's called Ujjayi breath, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend you try Ujjayi breath to begin with, because it's you probably, if you look up yoga videos, you'll hear people breathing from their throat. It's a constricted breath through your nose, and it's supposed to bring awareness of your rhythms and how your body is operating. But breathing itself is something we do every day, and it's something you have to do, otherwise you die. So kind of a critical element. But breathing controls almost everything in your body. It sets your heart rate, it controls how clear your mind is, it controls how fast you're moving. All those sorts of things come from being able to breathe properly. And I think that's the thing that people forget, because it's a subconscious habit. You sort of forget how basic and critical it is, and going back to that sort of basic thing is what yoga is about. That sort of grounding yourself, being, you know, together with yourself, being just in your body and just being you.
That sounds really, really amazing. It makes me want to try a class right now. So if you were to ask to tell one of the viewers, or all the viewers rather,
Just one of them.
just one of them, you on the left, you. So what would you suggest them did? Because you started in your room,
Yeah.
and that's an amazing thing. So you don't need anything else, you don't need anybody else, just a YouTube channel like these amazing YouTube channels,
Obviously.
and you're off. You can do it. Would you suggest they did it in the morning, perhaps, or would you suggest they did it in the afternoon, in the evening, before they go to bed? What do you think?
I think it depends on who you are as a person. I am not a morning person. I hate getting out of bed. I don't understand why you would leave the most comfortable, pleasant place in the world any earlier than you absolutely had to.
Me too.
So that to me suggests that you wouldn't enjoy doing yoga first thing in the morning. Conversely to that, it does set the tone of I'm going to be organised, on top of myself, on top of my game, we're going to have a good day. So it depends on how you're feeling, and I suppose that's the other beauty of yoga, is that it's so dependent on how you're feeling. You can work your practice to how you feel. Versus going in the evening, on a day when I'm at work, I don't get home until about 11 p.m. I wouldn't want to be doing yoga for another 20 minutes.
Right,
I'd rather be asleep or eating, because I like eating. So,
Fair enough.
and you can't really eat and do yoga. I've tried; it's quite hard. So in that sense, you probably rather just go to bed, because sleep is a great healer. So being asleep is about as productive.
I was reading up on our subject before the interview, in fact, and I was preparing, and I did find out a couple of things about doing meditations and yoga, because they're very quite interconnected, aren't they? So you meditate while you're doing stretches and feeling one with earth. So what it came across is that also the outside input can be quite distractive for our health and fitness, well-being in general, in terms of going to sleep and sleeping nicely, to have a nice sound sleep, which could be as simple as going on your mobile phone or do something on a computer before going to bed. Have you found that was also kind of been a problem for you, or?
Yes, I am the biggest sinner of being on the internet until 2 in the morning and then wondering why I'm tired the next day. I think that's kind of a curse of living in our society, which can be wonderful, but in terms of wanting to feel more balanced, be able to sleep, be able to be sort of together inside your own head, it's definitely detrimental. And so I try my best, I fail quite a lot, but I try my best to put my phone away, turn my phone off, and I've sort of got it to a pattern where there's certain days where I do it, like that's a rule. For example, on a Monday I have a day off, and my rule is when I go home, no phones.
No phone.
I just put it down and I mute it and I just leave it there, and that really means that on a Monday night at least I get a decent night's sleep.
That's beautiful. Okay, that sounds really, really interesting, because that also backs up my readings, and it is really, really good. So to recap before we close, what would you suggest people did about meditation, yoga, and just give a little summary?
The piece of wisdom that I was given from a very wise yoga instructor was be on your mat, which is just no matter what you feel for that day, no matter if you're sad, if you're stressed, if something really bad's happened or something really good's happened, it could be the opposite. You could have a really great day. Once you're sat on your yoga mat, this little rectangle is your world, and you make it what you want it to be. And whether that means just sitting still for 10 minutes, that is absolutely acceptable, because a lot of people say that you're wasting time. But time that you spend, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time, is that old saying. So just
very good.
It's one I use a lot to my dad when he's like, what are you doing? So just being on the mat and taking control of everything that's going on in that little rectangle is what's important.
Centering yourself.
Yes,
and again,
being grounded and just sort of checking in and being, sort of going, you're okay, it's fine.
I know we need to close, but just to go back what we discussed about being in an urban place, like an urban city, very busy city like London, rather than the countryside. Most viewers will be from possibly London, but they could be from anywhere in the world. So would you say it's worth taking 10 minutes, or as you said, wasting 10 minutes and just stop everything for 10 minutes and see where you're at, check yourself?
I think so. I think people get I know I do, I get wound up by very, very small things. Little things sort of sit in my head and niggle at me for days, and so having that sort of pace backwards, how are we really doing, how are we really feeling, not this little thing, but how are we really feeling is very important.
Seeing the overall picture and
the bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture to be had than that tiny little detail that you've got hung up about for 3 days for no reason.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your story with us today.
You're welcome.
Guys, if you're interested in Becca's story and see what she's got to say, please head to the website, fitandfun.me.uk, where you can find her story, my story, and all sorts of merchandise and discounts with regards to personal training and courses. For the time being, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Okay, stage manager.
2, 1, action.
Hello there and welcome to Fit and Fun Show. Thank you for watching. I got it wrong, so I'll start again.
Oh my god!
Okay.
You keep distracting him.
I know, right? It's like, stop undoing your fly.
Taking your shirt off. It's distracting.
I know, right? Okay. If you'd like to know more about Becca's story, you can head on to fitandfun.me.uk and check out all the details there. You can also find my story and all the merchandise and the tests that you can find. Feel free to check out the website and everything else. Oh, I got it wrong, didn't I? I just repeated myself so many times. That's why cut. Focus. Yoga and mental health. Okay, 3, 2. Hello there and welcome to Fit and Fun Show. Today we have Rebecca. Becca! Sorry.
That's alright.
I'm sorry, I get it wrong. I'm so naughty. Okay.
Yes, going.
Thank you. Oh, we have to be real. I've got to be real on the other side, it's fine. Oh, I need to burp, wait.
Can you cut it?
Yeah.
You're not gonna say on your show, I have to burp. Did it record?